What's up, guys? This is Caden. It is February 18th, 2015, and I just wanted to make a video talking about what it means to be transgender for me. I'm doing a speech at the University of Notre Dame tomorrow, and I just kind of wanted to reflect and just talk about what transgender means to me and how I kind of see it as a whole, and how I have figured out over the years that I am trans and what you can do about that. So let's take the word gender first and go over that. What does gender mean? What is the definition of gender? Gender is a social construct designed to place people in feminine or masculine groups. So if you are born female, meaning whatever your sex characteristic is, that is automatically put into a female or male group, okay? Which is not the case, because we know that sex down there and gender up here are two different things. So what does the word transgender mean? And it is a person whose gender identity, which is up in the head, does not match their bio-sex, their sex, whatever sex characteristics that they were born with. It's also, transgender is also a umbrella term used to group people, anybody that identifies in the gender spectrum. So anybody that is transsexual, genderqueer, gender fluid, non-binary, cross-dressers in there, agenders in there, a bunch of different categories under one big umbrella. And a lot of people do use, transgender as just a way to identify themselves, a lot of the time as well. So for me, thinking back to it, since I was probably in elementary school, that's when my, I guess, gender identity started showing. I was very, very masculine. I was very comfortable in masculine clothes. I always played with the guys. I was always more comfortable being around boys at that age. And just, I liked the fact that at that age, nobody cares what you look like, what you identify as. You're just you playing, doing your own thing, Everybody in elementary school, I'm sure, went through that, There's really not so much stress like there is now about society's views of you and what they're going to think of you and how they're going to judge you. As a kid, you're just doing you and you're just having fun with yourself. So as a kid, I just did myself, really. I just did what I felt comfortable with, and that was dressing more masculine, stealing my dad's t-shirts that were 5 sizes too big and wearing them to school because I didn't like what my mom made me go to school in, There's just so many little things that made me comfortable, and I would just do them. And for a very, very long time, I was very confused. Society really put this thing in my head that girls, if you're a girl, okay, you need to do this and this and this. And if you're a girl and you don't do these kind of things, then you stand out. People are going to recognize that you stand out, okay? And that's the scary part, because when someone tells you that, or if you're a boy and you don't play, soccer and go hang out with your dude friends and play dinosaurs or cars or whatever stereotypical activities or mannerisms that they put on female and male people, that gets you, like, that got me so messed up for so many years. I could never understand why I just couldn't be like this and why I couldn't be looked at as a normal person, really. You know, I would get stares all the time. People would ask my parents if I was a boy or a girl, and like, that's nobody's fucking business except your business, you know. And I think you should be able to express whatever it is that you feel on the inside and outside. Okay, so when I was right about fourth or fifth grade, that's when I really was certain that I like dressing this way. I'm going to continue dressing this way, and acting the way that I want to act. You know, by that point I knew more about sex and that kind of stuff. So I understood what happens and what goes on, and that part freaked me out. It was very kind of disturbing. I'm not trying to sound weird or anything, but as a kid, you know, looking at my body and thinking that, I was just very uncomfortable. Like, even I would just take a shower and just like look at myself, and I just get more and more almost disgusted with myself and the way and the what I had on my body, because I've never really identified with it ever since I was a kid. That's something I've never identified with. My sex is something that I never identified with and never could get comfortable with it, you know. And there's many people that are transgender that are comfortable with you know, their biosex, and that's absolutely awesome and that's perfectly fine. But this is just the way I was born, and you know, it is what it is. So it took me the time until like recently to really figure out that people don't need to live their lives like this. You know, as a kid growing up into middle school, I've always had a lot of anger. I used to get in a lot of fights and take out my anger on people because of how people used to treat me. I used to, you know, abuse myself with drinking and drugs and everything you could possibly think of, honestly. There's all of my everything that was holding inside me for so many years came out in high school. After, you know, high school was over, I really started to think about, what is it that I really want? What is it that really makes me happy? You know, what is it that really makes me unhappy? And thinking about my you know, how people perceive me, how I perceive myself, my gender identity, my gender in general was very much on my mind a lot of the time. You know, or if somebody called me he instead, pre-T, you know, when someone's like, oh hey sir, I'd be like, instantly, like, this little flick went off in my head, and I was just like, I would just get excited, and I'll be like, okay, like, you know, that's, I'm not gonna correct you for for calling me a he, because I, you know, I like it. It was up until I think I was like 17 or so, 17 going on 18 or so, yeah, no, probably 18 years old or so, when I really figured out that my bottom dysphoria was really stopping me from a lot of the things. And I didn't know what the word dysphoria, I didn't know the word trans, I barely found out what the word gay was. I was in high school. I was in high school when I, you know, when I knew what the word gay meant. Middle school, high school. I didn't go to school much because I was traveling a lot, doing my tennis stuff. So I missed out a lot of like the social kind of stuff within middle school and high school, which I am actually very, very glad for, because I don't really like, elementary school was enough for me to deal with, honestly, and that was already like hell. So I didn't really, in middle school, sixth and seventh grade was very bad for me. That's when I had the most anger built up. But really realized that this is what I wanted when I knew I just couldn't be physical with my partners anymore. Like, nothing got me excited to do that. I thought I was asexual for a while because I just didn't have any desire to be physical with anybody, intimate with anybody. So that was one of like the major, and that's something that I really kind of thought about for a couple months, you know, because I've known that I've had bottom dysphoria. Now that I know the word dysphoria and everything, I know I've had bottom dysphoria since I was about 8 years old or so, probably younger. And I just started putting all these puzzle pieces together of what has happened in the past and how I felt in the past and why I did those things, and it just completely led up to this, really. You know, one day I was on YouTube, I found a transition video, and like my mouth was on the floor. I'd never in hell imagined that you can transition from female to male or male to female, or be neither genders, or do all of these amazing things that make people really feel like who they really are inside, you know. And I thought you had to live like this, like for the rest of your, I just really thought I had to live like this for the rest of my life, and that scared me, you know. That really did scare me a lot, because I knew I was going to be one depressed ass motherfucker for the rest of my life. And who wants to live like that, you know? Nobody wants to live a life full of fear and just being uncomfortable all the time, not feeling like yourself. Who wants to live a life like that? Because I knew I didn't want to live another day like that, honestly. And here is basically what I am, where I am today. You know, I never thought a year ago that this was possible for me, and it is, you know. And even if you don't have these kind of thoughts at an early age, you figure out that you're trans. I figured out when I was trans at 18. Like, that's still very, very young compared to other people that figure out that they're trans in their 30s, 40s, even 50s, you know. But you don't need to know at an early age, or there's no definition of being transgender, you know. Yeah. Well, this is my little video, so I hope you guys like that. It's just basically an overview of how I viewed myself in the past and now in the present, and just a story about how this all came to my head. Alright, well, I will be making a video tomorrow for my collab channel. You guys should check it out. The name of the channel is Gender Roles Are Dead. So check them out, check this channel out, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.